All right, so again, hi and welcome everyone. We are here today to talk to you about the Saturday Hybrid MBA program. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Ingrid Martin to get us started.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, hello, everybody. So what we have here is what we're going to go over throughout this whole presentation. We're going to talk about do some introductions and the value of an MBA, then talk about the College of Business and do an overview of the Saturday program. And then you're going to get a guide through our application process. And at the end, we'll do a Q&A. So going to the next slide. So first of all those happy smiling faces, those are the cohort of the Saturday program, cohort 11. They graduated this last summer, and we were in the Netherlands. We were actually in Amsterdam visiting a shipping company. And we spent a week there, and that's part of our international trip that we do every year. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I just wanted to introduce you visually to one of the cohorts that had just graduated. Anyways, when we talk about the value of getting your MBA, there's a lot of different things that come to mind, but probably the most important ones are the idea of once you come into the program, you're basically part of a network. You're part of a network of alums that have gone through the MBA program, as well as in your cohort, because in your cohort, you have this network that you guys are going to be together for 23 months. You're going to do everything together, all your classes together. You're going to get to know each other very well. You're going to go on a trip together. So it's very much a network right there. It's the MBA too is great for jumpstarting your career. If you want to change industries, if you're in an industry now and you want to change to another industry, the MBA can help you do that. Also, what we found is it's pretty common for MBA students going through the program to get a promotion and a raise about halfway through the program. So what that tells you is that the MBA has an immediate impact on your learning, and then what you can take into the classroom, or I'm sorry, into your office and put into practice in your job. The other thing is you're really investing in yourself, and that's really important. You're helping yourself grow in your career and meet more people, grow your network, everything. All right, so here's a quick bar chart. And basically what this shows you is the earnings potential, actually median lifetime earnings potential for people based on their degree. And as you can see at the top, it says professional degree, and which is what an MBA is. And what this basically says is the median lifetime earnings of an MBA, someone with an MBA degree, is over $400,500,000. So that's pretty good. And so anyways, we want you just to understand the impact of a professional degree. And as you can see, it's higher than a doctoral degree. And I can guarantee you, having a PhD, being a doctor in marketing, I don't think I'll ever make that much money. All right, so some of the resources that we offer with the program. First, we have our own graduate business career services. It's specifically for the graduate business students in the College of Business. And what it is, it's set aside to help you with whatever support you need in your career. So if you want to change industries, if you want to meet other people in your industry, you want to get to know alums, you want to brush up on your resume, maybe you want to brush up on your networking skills, or on interviewing if you want to go through start interviewing for different jobs, the Graduate Business Career Center is there. We have 3 people that are basically devoted to helping all of our graduate students with anything that they need for their career. The second thing that we have is what we call a guest speaker series, and we bring in speakers that are experts in both disruptive technology and sustainability. One of the other things we do is we partner with the MS in Information Systems program, And we bring in guest speakers where we bring all of our students together on a Saturday. We have a lunch, and then we get to meet and listen to guest speakers from different industries. We were very fortunate this last Saturday to have 3 guest speakers, one from Meta, one from Netflix, and one from Google. So this was quite the treat for all of our students. And the nice thing is you get to interact with not just the guest speakers, but also with graduate students in other programs, which is another way to grow your network. We have an MBA advisory board, which is focused just on the MBA programs and the MBA students and alum. As a student in the MBA program, you would be eligible to join the MBA advisory board, where you get to meet alums, you get to meet people from other industries. We do a lot of networking. We have bi-monthly MBA advisory board networking events. So for example, our last one, we went to Lucille's barbecue, and we had about 50 people there, and we basically have food, drinks, we enjoy getting together, and we enjoy getting to know each other. And then we also have alumni career talks, which is another thing that is really important. And this is sponsored through the Graduate Business Career Center. And what it does is it connects alumni with current students. Then we have the Business Mentorship Program. And the Business Mentorship Program is focused on helping anybody that would like to start their own business. And we have a pretty big in a startup or innovation ecosystem in the graduate program. And so if you wanted to start your own business, you would have all the support and resources that you need to do that, including being able to compete in some of our, we call them innovation challenge, for money and in-kind services that would help you start your business. So those are some of the important highlights of what you would find when you come into this program. Okay, just to put this out there, this gives you an idea of what the typical profile is of a Saturday MBA applicant. And you can see the average age is around 33. It's about 60% women. We have waived the GMAT again this year, so there's no requirement to take the GMAT or GRE. One of the things that I really want to stress is the diversity that we have, not just in the Saturday program, but across all of our graduate programs. And we're very proud of that. The 3 top undergraduate majors that we get coming into the program are communications, business, and engineering. So what this really tells you is you don't have to have an undergraduate degree in business to come in and to start in an MBA program. All right, next. Okay, so this lovely smiling young woman is Grace Mayashiro. She also graduated this last summer. And so what I want to do is tell you a little bit about our program now in terms of the specifics of it. So first of all, it's a hybrid program. So you have 10-week terms, and every other Saturday you're in class, and then every other Saturday you're online in asynchronous mode, which basically means you're working either on your own or with your team on projects, maybe simulations, things like that. And the entire program runs for 23 months, and it's made up of 48 units. So what you do is every 10 weeks, you take 2 courses, one in the morning and one in the afternoon for the Saturday program. It's cohort based. So as I said earlier, you're going to go through this entire 23 months with the same group of students. And that's why we talk about it as a built-in network. We have 2 immersive residentials. We start out with an orientation the weekend before you start the program, and then we have our international study trip. And I showed you a picture of it earlier, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. We have what's called a concierge program. So everything is included in what you pay. You pay $6,000 every 10 weeks, and it includes all of your textbooks, all of your instructional material, parking on campus, the international study trip, and your meals and any other incidentals that come up. The only thing that we don't cover is for your international trip, we do not cover the trip the flight from LA to whatever city we're meeting in. So that round trip ticket is on you, but everything else once you get in country is basically covered in this program. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about the concentration or the focus of this program. We focus on two things. We focus on sustainability and we focus on disruptive technology. And one of the things that we decided about 4 years ago was the importance of disruptive technology and technology in general and data science on what everybody is doing in business. It's like now you can no longer say, oh, I'm not interested in knowing what to do with data. I'm not interested, that's not stuff for me. That's what a computer coder does or something like that. What we're finding is that more and more to be able to grow in whatever position you're at in industry and get promotions and raises, you really have to understand what do we do with all the data that we collect. And you probably know that we're constantly collecting data. You got every time you do something and you scan a QR code or go to the grocery store and scan your card, where people are collecting data on you. Anytime you go to a website, there's data. You're leaving a footprint and there's data. So that's why we decided that it was important that we integrate this into the curriculum. So a few things I want to say, just point out here. First of all, we had Michael Wang, who's the CIO and VP of Digital Innovation from Epson America, which actually is headquartered here in Los Alamitos. We had him come in and talk to our students. And these are a couple quotes that he made that really exemplify why it is so important to understand technology. First, he talks about data as the new currency in business. So how do you exploit data available to your organization, customers, competitors, enterprise systems, IoT devices, and more. You can also develop your competitive advantage in the market by solving problems, by creating new business models, improving products and services, using cybersecurity and blockchain to create privacy around your business data. So these are just a few quotes that came from Michael Wang, but there's, what this is doing, it's really emphasizing the importance of knowing how to interpret data, what to do with it. It doesn't mean you have to be a coder. It doesn't mean you have to get out there and create a blockchain. What it means is you need to know how to interpret the output from all of these different types of technologies. Okay, so this will give you a little picture into what we do in terms of how we've integrated technology into our curriculum. First of all, the first term, you take 2 classes. You take an operations research class, and then you take what's called an intro to disruptive technology, which is taught by one of our IS professors. And it's a great course. You'll learn all the basics of different types of technology, like blockchain, like artificial intelligence. I'm sure all of you have heard about Chat GPT and the controversy that, that's going around it. And so artificial technology is basically the foundation of that. We use a very integrated teaching approach. We have experts that come in, industry experts that come in and talk to our students and help you learn about some of the different technologies, as well as our faculty are also trained in teaching this kind of technology. And so each of our courses integrates at least one technology into it. So if you look at our financial accounting course, there's a blockchain and artificial intelligence, which basically is very important for accountants when they're trying to ensure that as data moves from one point to another, that it is protected and kept private. In finance, our faculty there integrates crypto or cryptocurrency into what she teaches. In MIS, you learn about AWS cloud computing. So you basically take a course in AWS computing. In HR, we want to make sure that everybody understands the metaverse. So we have VR, AR, and XR that basically you can see how you could create, for example, a HR core or an HR workshop to train people within your company in certain policies or certain processes. And you, instead of putting them through it and having to go somewhere and learn it, you can actually teach them in your organization using our visual reality, or what do you call it? Augmented reality and XR to learn these processes. For our operations class, you learn about robotic processes, RPA. So you understand, all the importance of robotic arms, robots in industry, and how you have them within an organization. Most production lines now have robotic arms and use robotics to move, products and move things across and build. Build products. So this is all important for you to understand and know that when somebody comes to you that's working on your team and they've done something, that you want to make sure that you understand what they've done and if it's been done correctly. The other thing is we support, if you want to pursue a certification in Tableau, which basically means you will learn Tableau when you're going through the program. And then in the end, if you want to pursue it and get a certificate, which is a great thing to have, you will actually fund your certification process. Okay, now to the trip that I promised you. So in this trip, here we are in Amsterdam. We went to visit a place called Space and Matter. And basically you see those houses behind the students. Those are floating houses and they're 100% sustainable. They're are zero carbon, or they're carbon neutral. So we learned about how you can do this and the processes that they go through to create these houses. It's a whole community here that are basically living in floating houses. And for those of you that have been to Amsterdam, you know about all the water that you see and is around you. So this really made sense to build these houses on, floating houses. Some of the things that we do on this trip, we always make sure that the trip focuses on sustainability and disruptive technology. So we will go visit companies to where using the kind of technologies that we're learning. We'll visit companies that have and learn more about what, for example, a country like the Netherlands does in terms of sustainability. So basically, the idea here is that you get to compare what you've learned in the classroom and what you experience here in the United States to what's happening in another country or in another region, like in the EU. Basically, we have people, all the laws are all the same across the entire EU. So you see all of this put into practice and you get to learn what they're doing and compare it to what we're doing. And basically, I have to say, the one thing that I hear every year is that the group, after they go on their trip, they come back saying, this was the best thing because we feel like we really bonded and now we're friends for life. Okay, so I put this up here because I just wanted to bring it all to a close in terms of talking about the program. I have here, take your career to the next level. You're going to develop your future, network for the future. So we're encouraging you to think about joining the Saturday MBA program. And now what I want to do is I want to introduce you to an alum of the Saturday MBA program, Sergio Baez. He graduated from our first cohort, and he's here to tell you a little bit about himself, and then he'll answer any questions that you may have. Welcome, Sergio.
Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid, and welcome. I think I took the same step that you all are making now, which was first kind of going through that brain journey of that mind journey of I need something in my life to kind of really advance my career. You're kind of in the research mode, and now you've come into this amazing session here as I did. So welcome. You are taking an enormous step. And so, as Ingrid mentioned, my name is Sergio Baez. I like to keep our conversation here a bit interactive. So, some of the things, I like to understand or have you all take a guess on the percentage of folks that have an MBA in the United States. If you don't mind using the chat to give me a sense of what you think that percentage is. For those that are, all right, Daniel's guessing 20, 17, 30. No, you're actually in a really, you're kind of over guessing here. So typically, there's different sources, but you're looking at about, hopefully none of you did a fast Google, but you're correct. 2 to 3%, maybe no more than 4% of folks in the US have an MBA, which then speaks volumes to those that are interested in it, right? That is a very small percentage of folks that are going out there wanting to get this higher, higher education, especially in this field. And anybody want to take a guess on a starting salary? I know Ingrid gave us kind of lifetime value, but what do you think getting an MBA, what kind of the entry level salary is? Daniel's 150. Yeah. When you take kind of the collective US population, you're definitely making 6 figures kind of out the gate. That's the average. Of course, some will make more, some will make a little less, depending on the experience. But again, if you're one that's motivated by Benjamins, this is definitely something you're kind of taking the right path here and kind of uncovering the opportunity to get your MBA. And Long Beach is a phenomenal school, and one that I'm just very grateful for. A little bit about myself, and I'm a bit of an open book, and I like to talk a lot. So please interrupt me, raise your hand, and chime in whenever possible. I'm here for you all. So a little bit about myself. Again, Sergio Baez. I'm actually during my day job, the director of marketing, licensing, and promotions for NBC Universal. I'm actually here on the 14th floor at one of the tallest buildings here at Universal Studios, chatting with you all. So I've been here for about a year, but had been with the Walt Disney Company for 15 years in a similar role. And I've and before then I was with Kraft Heinz. Back then it was Kraft Nabisco, more in a kind of a category management role. And I'm really blessed and very honored to not only be sitting within these walls, but also have really close ties to the Cal State Long Beach family and community. I am not only an alum of the 2013 cohort. God, I'm aging myself here. But I'm also, and I was very lucky to have Dr. Ingrid here as a professor, and have opened up some doors for myself here, along with some supporters, to take my knowledge of the industry to kind of teach it to not only folks within the undergrad level at Cal State Long Beach, but also teach a few courses at Long Beach from a marketing perspective. So actually have taught a Saturday program course and plan to teach a few more in the next couple of years here. So very close ties to the Long Beach community. So a little bit about kind of what I've kind of took from my experience. Wow, it's just I can spend the whole hour here talking. I won't take up all that time of yours. I'll try to keep it abbreviated here. So back in 2010, I was at a point in my career where I really thought there was an opportunity for me to take what I like to consider more of kind of a refinement moment, where I had a little over 10 years of professional experience, and I was ready to take it on and take on additional roles, refine my some of the professional characteristics, and thought an MBA. And I always wanted to get an MBA, and I just didn't know kind of the right program for myself. You hear a lot of the kind of competing schools within an area. They come with a really hefty price tag, and I didn't have tons of money to work with, or didn't want to get into too much debt from a student perspective, and came across Cal State Long Beach. And as I mentioned, I came to an information session. It was amazing. It worked exactly kind of what I was looking for. At the same time I was getting my MBA, I was working full time for the Walt Disney Company. And for many companies, they do offer a reimbursement incentive. So I was very lucky enough to have that. And I went through the Saturday program, and I have to say, when I was going through the program, it was every Saturday and some Fridays in person, and I'd have to make the commute. And I know for a lot of students, or those that are wanting to go back to get their higher level degrees, is that, do I have enough time? Is it the right time? It's never the right time. Your life needs to just adjust. And that's kind of what happened to me, is even with me thinking that I wouldn't adjust, everything kind of fell into place. The Saturday program is perfect because it gave you kind of some breathing room throughout the week, where you're able to meet with your teams, you're able to do homework in the evenings. And then on Saturday, you kind of keep it focused to school, right? So, and in this case, it's even that much more flexible because you have the asynchronous hybrid of having in-person classes, which is great benefit to kind of build those connections with your peers, and then with your professors as well, your instructors. And then the flexibility, not having to come in every other Saturday, you're able to kind of work asynchronously. I have to say, one of the best things of the program is kind of what already Ingrid had mentioned, is just the connection, and how many great individuals are in this program. And it is so refreshing to come into a classroom and have engineering folks, folks that are designers, folks that are operational managers, folks that sit within the social media space. It was really refreshing to be able to have these resident experts in your classroom for so long, and be able to meet with them, and to be in groups with them, and to learn from them. It really is a huge benefit to this program, to have so many different professionals in one room that can share their knowledge. And then it's all about the application. You can study concepts all day, but being able to be part of this program, studying concept, all this disruptive technology, but then layering on the tremendous amount of experience that your colleagues would bring to the table. And as Ingrid mentioned, there's tons of great speakers that come to speak to our classes, and the tremendous amount of projects and presentations. It really refined me to be that much more of a better professional. So whether it be public speaking, I know that was one part of kind of my developmental area. It was to get up and speak in front of folks. That gave me some training wheels to be better at that, and to think more strategically, and to be able just to learn from so many different disciplines. The icing on the cake was a trip at the end. For my cohort, we went to Morocco, which was amazing. We got to visit a few organizations, toured some factories. Again, it's definitely kind of with this mindset of kind of a globalization mindset. Not only are you learning about kind of the basics of business, but you're also gaining kind of this disruptive technology layer. And then on top of that, kind of this globalization mindset when you go on your trip at the end of the session. I got to say, after that, I kind of saw myself, I don't know how other way to say it, but I feel like I was getting getting smarter every session, kind of working with these great colleagues and these peers that taught me so much. When I graduated back in 2013, I was immediately promoted. That is a true story. And I actually had something to use as leverage to be able to get more money, right? So I very much negotiated a higher salary with the Walt Disney Company, even after they paid for some of my tuition. And it gives you leverage. And it's something that I'd always wanted to obtain. And I would have to say, in my career, I'm not saying this because I'm in this session, but hands down, one of the best things I've ever done for my career was to obtain my MBA. And I'm just so happy. It was one of the best investments, or the best investment I have made for myself. But anyway, I've spoken enough. And now, as I mentioned, I work at NBC Universal, and have filed my MBA away in my brain to utilize it every day. So it's being used in practice every day in my workplace.
Sergio, there's a question for you in the chat.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm having a hard. Okay, I got it. All right. So Jesus is asking, what were some of the benefits you saw in your professional development shortly after graduating with your MBA? I have to say, maybe this was just me thinking, it's almost like you get it's this badge of honor, and it's all, well deserved, but it's almost like you get this new level of respect in the boardroom, and that was just my experience, right? So I saw a lot of my self-confidence improve quite a bit. As I mentioned, professional speaking, a lot of my public speaking needed a little help. And so being in this really safe space helped me refine that public speaking skill set. A lot of other things that I learned, leadership qualities, working with teams, I did a lot of that within the ecosystem of Disney, but taking myself outside of that comfort zone of the entertainment world and being able to learning how to communicate with engineers and with those in the aerospace industry or those that were designers. I was able to get out of that bubble that I was currently in and be able to stretch myself to have to interact with other folks from other industries. So I would say those were another one, time management. I would say probably not one of the strongest skill sets that I had, but wow, like it is kind of one of those things I improved tremendously from a time management perspective, because every minute counts. And of course, I tell my students this all day and night, is self-care is definitely a priority. You got to make sure that you're well and you get sleep, but that all comes with time management, making sure that you need to get done what you need to get done, but then making sure that you have enough time to rest up and recoup. And so I would say that was another thing that I developed quite a bit after getting my MBA.
Great. So if there aren't any more questions, we'll turn it over to Lindsay, who's going to talk to you about the application process.
I think there was a question, Ingrid, from Melina.
I'm sorry. Yeah. What made you choose the Saturday MBA as opposed to other formats?
Yeah, so the Saturday MBA program for me, as I mentioned, it was a little more flexible in a sense that I had more breathing room during the week, because my week was all about going into work. And I live in Downey, which is near Long Beach, and I had a commute every day to Glendale, which was where, Disney, my division was headquartered for Disney. And so that commute would kill me, right? Because we had to be in person. And so for me to have to rush to another school on campus would be difficult during the week. So for me, the Saturday program, it gave me that airspace to be able to focus on my studies on the weekend and the evenings during the week, but to meet in person on Saturday was kind of the way to go for me. And it was probably the best decision for me. And then Melina, you had a question. I think
yes, Sergio, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your experience. I'm thinking that when you worked at Disney, you had tuition reimbursement. So I'm thinking, obviously, at least some of the cost for the MBA was covered through your employer. Yes. And that may be the case for some of us, but it still seems like it feels like $6,000 every 10 weeks. I'm still thinking that maybe you still had to come out of pocket or get a loan, or just you planned for it and you had savings, because that's it's an investment. It's an investment, and obviously what you're saying is that the investment was worth it, right? Because you were able to continue your professional development and you got a promotion and all of that. But I think for many of us, like, that may be like a concern, even if you have tuition the reimbursement, based on the cost, most people may still go into their savings or have to get a loan, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
just share a little bit about your experience and how you were able to manage that.
Yeah, so you kind of hit it on the nail in a few cases. You're right. I was lucky enough to have reimbursement. The thing is, for me, I'm a huge advocate for higher education. You know, I think it opens up doors, it opens up horizons, it opens up networks. There's just so much to gain out of the investment. You know, yeah, I did have to forego, there's sacrifice with anything that's going to be an investment. And I want you all to think about this from a longer term perspective as you think through, you know, the $6,000, or, you know, I'm definitely, and comparatively speaking, you know, I encourage you to look at other schools to see how expensive they are, you know, the likes of a Pepperdine or any other USCs or kind of the likes. I think the value proposition is so much higher with at least in my opinion, right? I'm only speaking on behalf of my opinion, is that Cal State Long Beach is so diverse. And I think that's kind of what the world looks like. And I don't mean to kind of run off to a tangent here, but there's a lot of value to say about the program here. So it kind of takes away, and I got a loan. So I got a loan for the rest of the, so I should have caveated by this by saying that Disney paid for a majority, but there's also other things that come along with, you know, purchasing the ticket for the trip and any extra costs that Disney didn't pay. But for me, I always kept my eye on kind of the longer term investment, kind of the outcome of the result of that. And I don't think I would have been in the position I am now as the director of marketing and licensing partnerships at NBC Universal without the master's degree. It is.
So,
yeah.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say, we need to go through the application process.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Sorry,
no,
Thank you,
sorry.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I'm happy to chat with you after if you need to chat further. I'm here for you all.
Thank you so much, Sergio.
Yeah, and I have to jump off for a train, but I'm here for you all if you have any questions after the fact.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you again for that student testimony, and I hope everybody is really excited to apply to the program now, or even more excited to. So I'll just talk briefly about the application process and how you are eligible to become part of the program. You must have received your bachelor's degree from a regional accredited university. We do have 2 GPA requirements, and one of the GPA requirements is a 2.5, and this is for the university. And for our College of Business and our program is a 2.575 or greater GPA. And just a quick reminder, meeting the GPA for both the university and the college does not guarantee admissions. Again, this is part of the requirements. On the next slide, a little bit about the application. You will be creating a profile through the Cal State Apply. Here, highly recommended that you are creating your profile with an email that you have access to, as all the communication from Cal State Apply will go directly to that email. The application does have 4 quadrants, which I will go over. And at the end of this presentation, we will be sending you an email with the application guide as well. The application is a $70 fee, is non-refundable, and a common question that we do get is if there's a fee waiver for this. Unfortunately, there isn't. It's quick $70 to apply. Your deadline for this program is June 1st, and you will be submitting test scores and transcripts accordingly. It's case by case for every student, and these are provided to the university. Application components. The GMAT and GRE, as mentioned earlier, are waived for all fall 2023 applicants. You do not need to take the test. You do not need to submit them. We do need your resume, video statement of purpose, short answer statement, and 2 letters of recommendation. The application, on the next slide, we'll start with Cal State Apply. Again, create your profile. You will be selecting the year, fall 2023, as your start, and it will be undergraduate programs. once you create your profile, you will have 4 quadrants. On the left is the incomplete, and on the right is complete. They will mark as green. Once you have completed all the sections for each quadrant, I'll go into each one of them in a bit. So the first quadrant, I believe, is the personal information. Here, you're just giving us all your general information, first and last name, email, any contact information. Again, this is all just personal information. On the second quadrant is your academic history, letting us know all the colleges or previous campuses you have attended. Your GPA entry here, give your best guess on this GPA. Eventually, this will be verified once you submit your official documents. And the standardized test, this is where you would commonly put the GMAT or GRE, but again, that is waived, so you could go ahead and skip that section. On the next quadrant, quadrant 3 is any supporting information. This is to put down all your experiences like internships, work experience. This is again optional. You're able to skip this section since later on you will be uploading your resume. Quadrant 4 from the Cal State Apply application is probably the most important part. This is where you will be answering some of the questions, uploading your documents, and submitting your 2 recommenders information. On the first section here is for the questions, is the video and statement of purpose. For the video statement of purpose, you will be uploading a link of a video no longer than 5 minutes. And in this video, you will be answering the following question, and that is, what are your career goals in the next 3 to 5 years, and what in your imagination will be your long-term dream job? Again, the video is to be no longer than 5 minutes. You could use any platforms like YouTube. Just ensure that the link to your video is public. If it is private, we are unable to see it, and therefore it would not be marked as complete. On the second part here, oh, sorry about that, will be the question. And the question has a character max. The question that you will be answering for this is, describe a time when you dealt with someone who was difficult. How did you handle that situation? And what would you do differently if you could do it over again? Again, you will be typing this, just and make sure and keep in mind that it is character max. Type it out on a Word doc and just copy paste it into the Cal State Apply. On this section, there will be other questions also, so just go ahead and answer them as marked and as required. On the next slide, you will be uploading your resume and unofficial transcripts. So just for your resume, your most updated resume with all your information and uploaded unofficial documents is optional, but it's highly recommended since we will be looking into those transcripts to also see your GPA. Your recommendations, we do require 2 letters of recommendation. On this section, you will be entering the name of an email of 2 of your recommenders. Highly just suggest here to have the most current up-to-date email for that person, since Cal State Apply will be sending them the link to complete your letter of recommendation on your behalf. And then here on the screen as well, you do have a few questions just to guide your recommender on what they should be putting in that letter for you, since they will be advocating for your candidacy to the program. And they just really we really want to know who you are, if you have worked with this person previously, how long have they known you, and what have you contributed to the organization, company, or if there was an instructor to the class. So for your transcripts, if you have attended a university that does submit transcripts electronically, this is the email on the screen that you will be providing to them so they could go ahead and submit it. Or you're also able to submit your official documents via mail to the address provided on the screen. Suggestion here is to send it via FedEx or UPS so you could have a tracking number, just so you know when it was delivered. And it just kind of gives you a peace of mind since there are official documents. On the next screen are international transcripts. If there's any international students here today, it's a bit different. You will just be sending them to the Office and Center of International Education, and the address is a bit different, so just take note of that. And for our graduate business here, and most importantly is that we are accredited. We are accredited by ASCSB. Only a few colleges and universities are accredited by them. We have gotten some recognition, and this is very important to all of the quality education that we're giving to our students, the curriculum. And again, this just also provides and proves how important our program is to our faculty and obviously to our program director here tonight. On the last slide here is all of our information, where we're located. If you are in the area and want to visit and speak to an advisor, our email, where we are more than happy to answer any of your questions, our phone number, if you'd like to speak to us as well, and our page, just so you can have more information about the program. That is the last slide that we have for tonight. We can open it up for any questions that you may have right now about the program or about the application process.